Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what I believe is episode 25 of the Superior Podcast. I am Frank Prather.
And I am Hal Sparks.
And together we shall rule the world.
It's true, actually. That is kind of the goal.
Sort of the game plan.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Podcast, just the first step.
Yeah, it's just a Machiavellian, just to give us the illusion of normalcy and human personality so that we can weasel our way into the halls of power.
We're just nice, silly guys
who
want to control everything that you do.
That's right. Well, yeah, eventually. So first of all, let's just... I told you when I walked up before we started the show, worst and best Easter ever.
Yeah. Also for Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Very, very similar. Very, similar in how it turned out. It turned out to be the Passion of the Camden, because Thursday I was making dinner. He's sitting on the couch talking to my mom on FaceTime.
Camden being Hal's son.
Yep.
If 25 is your first episode.
That's right. And he's 5 years old. And he decides to show her crisscross applesauce, which means how you sit down with your legs crossed, and he does it on the couch and starts to fall over, doesn't catch himself in time, and smashes his face into the coffee table.
Oh.
Giving himself a gash across the bridge of his nose that required 5 stitches.
Oh, man.
I hear this huge harum in the other room, and I immediately turn around. I was like, that's not a normal... Because Camden makes, he runs into stuff.
Yeah,
he knocks
boys,
things
hit
over.
shit,
that wasn't
fall constantly, yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't something he broke because he pushed it over. That was something landing hard.
Oh,
and I
that's
walk
rough.
in there, and blood is gushing out of his forehead.
Oh.
There's a little hole, basically, where the skin was.
Yeah, those little eyebrow-adjacent areas and across the bridge of the nose.
Super vascular.
Yeah, it's like the carotid artery.
Oh, my God. And he goes, what did I do? What did I do? Oh, no. And I was like, and I said the same thing, like, what'd you do? And he goes, I fell over on the couch. And then he starts telling you the story.
Yeah.
Chris doing crisscross applesauce and I hit my head. But he held together and he's like, am I going to be okay? Oh, my God. And I was like, you're going to be okay. I promise. Don't worry about it. Come here. We got to take care of this. So this is a big one. This is a big one. Come over here. And I just grabbed a handful of paper towels and just basically shoved it on the front of his face. And that started to soak up, and I managed to start slowly by applying direct pressure over it, and 3 waves of paper towels later, and he answering his questions and letting him he's going to be okay and everything. Managed to staunch the bleeding entirely. Like, kid's a coagulator, I'll give him that.
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah, and right across, just a gnarly gash right there. So I was back and forth for about 20 seconds about which seemed like a year, about hospital or no hospital with that kind of thing. And I was like, nah, we're going. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because it managed to, since the blood was stopped, I was like, we can get in the car. I don't have to put him in the front seat and hold a rag on his head all the way there. So we go to the hospital. They have a pediatric ER at this one hospital. So we went there, and everybody was great. He was like a fucking trooper. He was so good. And I was so proud of him. And he had these moments where it was really overwhelming, but he just kept it together. And I just would pet his chest, and kind of let him know it's okay. And he goes, they're gonna take the rag off the paper towels off your head, and they're gonna look at it. And then they had put this gel on that numbed the area,
right? And
then they had to give him 3 shots of Novocaine, essentially, into the wound.
Was the gel enough to stem the pain from the shots?
It wasn't doing the job, so they decided to give him the shots. So it was, at one point his jaw was shivering.
Oh, you're doing it. It makes my eyes water.
I know.
My kid does that for little things, and it makes my eyes water.
Oh God, it was. And he was holding it together, and he was trying to keep cheery, but then his jaw would go, and I'm like, okay, you got to be dad right now. Don't let anything slip. Just hold it together. And then they straight up Rambo'd his forehead shut with 5 stitches.
How long did it take?
The worst part was the shots. They were 10 seconds each. of 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because they had to slow.
Just because they used a tiny needle too, probably, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty normal looking needle to me.
Was it?
Yeah, it was straight into the wound. So, and he'd already had this goop on his nose for 30 minutes.
Oh, man.
That was numbing the outside area. So it had brought it down a little, but he could feel it. And and it's right next to his eye. So he's like looking at the needle across his eyeball.
Yeah, there's no hiding.
There's no way to
look
dodge
over there.
this. Oh,
well,
fuck.
the needle's still right there. Yeah.
God. So
shit.
3 of those shots. And then they let that, sink in for a minute. And they put the bandage back on it temporarily to kind of let it start to numb.
Right.
And basically they had like 2 child wellness people there who were like explaining to him what happens, and they bring in a doll with stitches on it and they explain how it's going to go down.
Oh, wow.
They'll fill you in.
Where was that when I was growing up? They took you into the emergency room, same as the one with the drunks and other people.
Yeah, right.
Like, okay, hold your kid down.
All right. Yeah, because we don't need this. This is annoying.
We're out of Novocaine, by the way.
Yeah, right, yeah. Here, tell him to bite down on this strap and take a shot of whiskey.
Basically.
Right, this is frontier medicine. So, he was so good. The only time it's funny because it's such a Sparks thing is to see it in him. But I only get weepy when people are nice to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're not the kind that cries if somebody fucks with us or says something shitty. We just fight back.
Same way. If you're super sweet, I get all emotional. Yeah,
dude, totally. And so he was fine until they came in to do the stitches, and there's 5 people, from the nurses. And the doctor, who was really great, Dr. Carey, she was terrific, and they were all so nice to him that he was like, "Am I going to be okay?" He got back into that mode again, and they put the big sheet with the hole over his head.
Yeah,
and I'm like, "This is your ninja mask, so that nobody can tell who's getting the stitches, so they can't identify you later from your."
That's good. So to give him something to think about.
Yeah,
this is cool.
And he was I just had a hold of his forearm, and if he squeezed the lady's hand because it hurt, I would squeeze his arm and let him know I was there.
Right.
And we just went through this, and they gave him a 50 gauge stitch in the center, and then 2 60 gauge, which are smaller on the outside, just because she used a bigger.
What's the
stitch.
Gauge stand
It's the
for?
thickness of the string.
Thickness of the string. Okay.
Yeah. And so bigger the number, the smaller the gauge. It's like guitar strings, kind of, as far as the point size, 0.0 something, and because I think it's 0.050, 0.060 something. Anyways, it was like they did great, but it was a harrowing as fuck 3 hours. I'm exhausted thinking about going through that. Oh fuck, man.
Yeah.
And I have to say, again, life isn't what happens; it's how you respond to it. And after the fact, I was really glad that I was there. It was not with Camden and his injuries. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. He's one of those kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so glad I was there to take care of it, because there wasn't a missing second.
Right.
I really when I looked at his face, I assessed it this is a real bleeding injury. Done. Paper towels, staunch the bleeding. Let's work with direct pressure. I know all my, emergency merit badge, emergency preparedness merit badge shit kicks in. And I'm like, I feel good about this. I'm okay. And calm enough where I can talk him through it and stuff. And there was blood all over the floor. There was blood his clothes. It was soaked through his clothes onto his belly. So he had dry blood on his belly. And he's like, look, I've got blood. After a while, he was so macho about it.
Oh, then it's cool. Yeah. Once you're not scared of what's happening, then it's all.
And then after he goes, he gets his 5th one. She ties it off and he's all done. And he goes, I like stitches. The next time I get hurt and I have to go to the emergency room, I want stitches. And I was like, you're not getting stitches again until you're in your 20s.
He's getting stitches again. He's getting stitches again for sure. Oh. And I don't mean that to be bad luck.
No.
I just mean
Camden, right?
You have a kid that's going to get stitches.
Yeah, right. Or give them. I hope I'm like, you can give some
Let's
stitches.
hope he hands out some stitches
he'll
first.
hand out some stitches.
But I've got to imagine there's a skateboard situation or something at some point.
Bungee jumping. He'll probably have a squirrel suit before he's 12.
I mean, I had them a number of times as a kid.
Yeah.
So.
But he has he's now got this, he's got stitches right across the bridge of his nose, which would be a quite sexy scar.
I was just literally thinking, Camden, you're too young to understand this, but chicks dig scars.
Yeah, and it'll be gone by the time he's 20. But
then you'll have to get another one.
Yeah. Not for a long time. Because that was like, and again, I raised my friend's daughter, I was around a lot. And I remember when she had her first big injury and I was on site when that occurred. She was with her grandmother. She had the dog leash wrapped around her feet and she didn't notice. And she just looked at me and went, watch what I can do. And what she was going to do was run with the dog. And I knew it. Oh. And I was like maybe 14 feet away and just my body was like lurching forward like, no. And she took 2 steps. Her feet were wrapped up in that leash. The dog ran a little bit because it knew it was about to go. Just cinched it basically like a knot around her feet. And she's face down, knocked her 2 front teeth out, bleeding all over the place, swelled her lip up. We weren't at home. I go into the store. I'm like, I need a bottle of water and I need some paper towels. I soaked the towels with water, rinsed off her face, and then had her suck on the thing and then spit it out basically as it was bleeding. Yeah. So her gums would finally stop and stop the swelling of her lip till I could get her home, ice her up, and go and it was. Like at the end of that, she passed out for like 16 hours. She slept for 16 hours.
And by ice her up, he means he bought her a bunch of diamonds.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
You'll feel much better.
Ladies, they're your best friend. Trust me. And I remember after that was all over, like she went to bed and I watched her for like 2 hours. And everybody was home at that point. Yeah. So it wasn't like, and she didn't have a concussion. She was fine. But I remember like I never have slept that hard in my life. Just because you just all your adrenaline just all races to the front and then it backs away. Yeah. And then so the same thing with Camden. Like I was a little more resilient to it now than I was when I was 22 or whenever when Emma fell. Sure. And the older they get, like Frankie's 2, so he's had boo-boos, but there hasn't been really any blood or anything yet. So or a big fever or a lot of vomiting. Like those are the big ones. That would scare me worse than the cut. Yeah. Sickness scares me worse because you don't know what's happening internally. Yeah. Cut I can deal with. And the funny thing is once it does, you just deal. You just go, all right, this is mode. It doesn't matter. I have no room to be upset about this. I can't, because, in my situation, like there's all kinds of crap that ancillary, custody oriented stuff that can happen with Cam getting hurt on my watch that I have to deal with emotionally. And it is always haunting in the background. But at that moment, like everything just goes away and you're just like, that's for another time. You're the dad. You're the dad. You have to handle that business. That's right. That's it. And you got to handle it. You got to see it through. Yeah. You can't be like, okay, and then you hand him off to the doctor and you're a wreck and you're in eyesight out, while they're working on it, like going, God, that was, I don't know. You can't do that either. You got to be solid throughout. Now, the good thing is, and I think you're probably very similar in this situation, is that's not a problem for me. Like I'm good with that. Like I get that. That's like in my bones. So the minute, like I didn't have a moment of doubt from the beginning of it to the end of it. Like I was like, it was good to go into that mode. I'm the same way. I'm really good in traumatic situations. Mm-hmm. I get very focused. Mm-hmm. I'm probably, as a defense mechanism, I do get a weird sense of calm, but I can think clearly. And I've been like that my entire life. Yeah. I attribute a little bit of it to there were traumatic times in my childhood where the freaking out thing didn't benefit me. So as I got older, it didn't matter whether it was car accidents or horrible injuries for people around me, or even... I was once in my life in a situation where there were guns, not me, guns and not firing guns, but guns present in a scary situation. Right. And I just get this weird, okay, what do I have to do? And I don't say it's because I'm so brave. That's not like, I'm sure there was an underlying fear that somehow my body went, I'm going to suppress this for the moment. Yeah. You can shit your pants later in the privacy of a safe space. I would argue that is a form of bravery, and ultimately that's what bravery boils down to, whether it's automatic or not. And if you ask people who've been in really brave situations, a lot of them feel like it was automatic and normal and good. They didn't go, oh, I decided in this moment that I must soldier on or whatever, but they just did what they think anybody would do in the situation, and they just knew they were scared, or they knew they were hurt, or they knew they were in some sort of danger, but they went, this matters more. End of story, you know?
And I think that's the way it is for me. But it's funny because we talked a little bit right before we started recording. The times I break down and that I can't handle things emotionally are when either people are really nice, like you just said, or, we were talking about our kids, Camden reading and Frankie just recently counting to 10. Here's the thing. You can pull a gun on me. I'm probably going to be fine. If my son does the ABCs, I'm on the floor in a ball weeping like he's so adorable. Yeah. I love him so much. That's it. If you ever want to disable me, that's my kryptonite. Just bring my kid. Don't threaten him because I'll try to figure out a way to kill you. Get him to say, Daddy, I love you. And then you can just take everything that I have because I'll just be on the floor like a wet rag. Like,
I'll you can hear a little bit of this.
A tot is a kind of bird. They can be many colors. Macaws live in groups.
He sounded it out.
They
so well.
Yeah.
Be 2 or more eggs. They live 75 to 90 years.
Fantastic.
It was fantastic.
It was.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit lost not just seeing the video, only because he's got such an adorable voice.
Yeah.
But like at age 5, a lot of kids, especially boys, aren't as sort of adorable is the only word I can think of. But Camden is still
totally
super adorable.
Yeah. It's like, and it's like he's so pretty. It's almost like he needs that scar.
He does.
It's not something I wish upon him at all. And it will go away. He's been healing great, so it'll probably be invisible by the end of the summer. I'll keep some Mederma on it all. For the next 5 months, and I think it'll be gone for the most part. I hope. But damn, and so afterwards, got to change the bandage twice a day, add Neosporin and antibacterial stuff, and I got the anti-scar, antibacterial stuff, and just kind of, I think it's your kid's face. The extra, $5 is worth it, certainly. And so I have to change this bandage, and it hurts to peel it up, because you don't want it to attach. But the more often you change it, the less chance it will bond to the wound,
right?
And the more goop you put on, but then if you put on too much, it'll drip into his eyes and stuff. So it's it's a delicate balance. And then the bandages were just too friggin' big for his tiny little face, no matter what you do.
He's got a little face.
Yeah, and to cover the cut. So what I did was I took a regular size Band-Aid with the mesh style, and I basically cut it into a moon shape, so that it acts as one side goes above the eye and one side goes below the eye, and the pad just goes right over the wound. And so once I got a good shape and it was, solid, then I'm like, okay, then I'll unpeel it and do it.
So it was like some sort of weird superhero.
Yeah,
like
he's got this lightning.
Just color them.
It's kind of like David Bowie Band-Aid across his face.
Is he still here? Or did he go back home?
He's home.
Home.
Yeah, he's other home. Yeah, he's at the other home. Yeah, But yeah, and this was actually there. This happened there. But I was there.
Oh, you were there. Okay, gotcha.
And then we were going to go to this big Easter egg hunt on Sunday. And then, after that happened, I was like, no friggin' way. I'm going to let him run around with a bunch of kids when one of them was going to elbow him in the face while they're all clamoring to get the last blue egg that, has the magic coin in it or whatever. So what I did was...
you bought him a giant space helmet.
That's right. Yeah, I got him a boy in the bubble suit. I got him one of those samurai, or those sumo wrestler suits, and he could go. No, I did I set up the house. I went around. Basically as soon as he went to sleep on Saturday night, I had to wait like an hour because he's like a light sleeper for the first half hour.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's a super light sleeper the last half hour. So in the middle of the night, though, you could walk in with cymbals, in a one-man band outfit, and he's gone. But so I did, I hid Easter eggs with candy and stuff in them all over the house. And then I put a huge Easter basket on his nightstand. And then I gave him these 3 X-Men masks that he'd wanted, this Black Panther, Wolverine, and Iron Man masks, which he can't wear until his nose is fixed, obviously, until he's healed.
Here's something you can't enjoy.
Touch. Yeah,
enjoy.
Right. Oh, and all the, I got him a bat and a ball and 2 foam swords. I'm like, this is all stuff we can't play with for a little while, but here you are.
good Lord, what is it, Christmas?
Yeah, right. Well, no, I mean, they're all like super cheap little, like, they're basically just like foam.
Oh, little fun things.
Yeah, exactly. Just, but stuff he would like instead of like, oh, here's a bigger chocolate bunny or something like that. So basically the same amount of money, you can just get these things. That's where I love that, whatever, Below 5, that store in the Midwest. Holy God, that place is great. If you're
I passed one of those recently.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I could see it from the freeway. So there's one out here somewhere,
maybe,
right?
yeah. But they're like, everything is under $5, but they have a lot of like, it's stuff that didn't sell, and so that they're trying to move it somehow.
Yeah.
So it's not bad stuff. It's actually, some of it's fairly great.
No, it's not dollar store tuna.
Right.
Like some off-brand shit from like the countries that nobody wants to eat.
Sun-kissed tuna, spelled Kissed. Yeah. It's only been left on a windowsill in an open can for 3 days. Oh, it's good.
Delicious.
Yeah. So there they have like Disney Infinity characters and stuff that's been discontinued, and they've got, balls and bats and kickballs and soccer balls and, like the scale smaller ones. And that
if you're watching the video of this, the thing that's holding the camera.
That's right. I did.
From the Under 5 store.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much like when I go visit him on his turf, I can't bring a bunch of stuff from here. So if I get some toys for us to play with, I can get stuff there and then basically abandon it where I'm staying.
Yeah, so it's not a big deal.
I usually use Airbnbs, so the people who have the Airbnb suddenly get some toys. They get some, free. It's
not a bad deal.
Yeah, like in the kids' room that I usually, when I rent an Airbnb, when it's he and I make sure it's a place with toys and games and that kind of stuff. If they've got a family room or it's
sure, yeah,
for
that's a big selling point on Airbnb.
That's right. And so there's a room, if they got a bunch of like board games, I'll go buy another board game just for he and I to play, and then I'll leave it there as kind of like my house gift, as it were.
That's
this
awesome.
time our gift was, of course, blood splatters all over the place.
Also a nice gift.
Yeah, right.
Also a nice gift.
It was just, because it looked like a murder scene at one point. Like, he walked into the kitchen and it was just like, there's this trail of splotchy, bright red blood with little tiny footprints in it. I was like, this looks like a miniature Agatha Christie novel.
Oh, God. It is always nice when you can leave some blood behind, though.
Sure.
Some sort of pathogen.
Some sort, right.
Like, I always leave a note, like,
bodily semi-solid.
Unfortunately, my child did not bleed on this particular trip.
That's right.
But we've left some feces smeared around various areas for your pleasure.
Right.
Thank you. For your scatological pleasure.
So that was the fucking weekend.
So other than that, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the best part about it was like how resilient he was. And like, we go.
That's cool. Because as guys like that, I mean, look, they're little kids. Let them just cry if that's what they're going to do. I don't ever judge my kid in a way that I always thought I would. Because I'm like, oh, you're 2. But whenever it's like he smashes his head into the wall because he wasn't paying attention and you're like, fuck, that must have hurt. And he goes and he looks and he laughs. I'm like, that's my boy.
That's him.
That's my man. Yeah. High five.
That's right. And and for Camden especially, just like it's not that he doesn't hurt. It's not that he doesn't allow himself. And we and I've had the conversation, like, it's okay if you cry. There's nothing wrong with it. If something makes you cry, that's fine. But we also have the conversation, like, but don't use your crying to get stuff out of people. Don't intentionally cry to manipulate. That's not healthy. It's not good. And once you're done crying, we'll move to the next stage of this, whether it's fixing it or dealing with it.
Right.
But you're allowed, to, if you feel it. And that's always the balance that you kind of have to walk with your kid. But when he's like, it's about really how much he holds it together, not because I don't want him to cry or show emotion, but that I want him to remain calm in situations where he might get hurt.
Yeah, learn to have an emotional strength and health.
That's right. And be aware of what's going on around him.
Yeah.
Because if you just become a flailing, crying mess all the time and something's really going down around you, you're further endangering yourself,
That's what I do with Frankie. I mean, look, he's 2. Yeah. So he's... half of his frustration in the world is you don't understand the words that I'm saying. Yeah,
that's 100% it. Like, can you imagine how bad it is? Like, babies can be grumpy because they need help to fart. Like, do you imagine what a grumpy bastard you would be if you had to wait for a stranger to come over and lift your leg to give you the one cheek sneak?
Fortunately, I do not have that problem.
No, right. 8 to 20 times a day on average for the regular person. But you imagine literally, because babies, they have gas and you have to kind of like...
Wait, is that a real statistic?
Yeah, 8 to 20 times a day.
8 to 20 times a day?
Yeah. I think that's girls and guys.
Really? Because I eat very healthy.
Yeah.
I eat a ton of fiber, a ton of vegetables and stuff. That seems like a lot to me.
Yeah, I don't know if they count, in between, so like a short chain as a, like, is that 3 or is that 1?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I would think of that as 1.
I'm trying to think now, given that statistic, if I have actually farted today, and I think there's at least 1 that qualifies. Look, if I'm going to be honest, so I pooped this morning.
Yeah.
And then there was a time during the day where I thought I had to poop, and that just turned out to be a little bit of gas.
Sure.
But yeah, it was, maybe there were a few.
Yeah.
Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't have to go, but that was it. So that would maybe be 3.
The decks, right.
But I don't think I've had any other ones. And given the way I eat, I feel like I should be on the high end of that statistic.
See, I think there are people like that tip that average into the 30s and 40s, and you and I are into like the 3 to 5 zone probably. Like,
is that because we just clean out better because we eat healthier? Maybe that's maybe I don't have that logic.
There are people. You're going on people who sit in a cubicle for a living and eat, eat
Whoppers
microwave whatever.
And shit for lunch.
Oh my God.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
The volume.
Yeah.
I mean, they have ads about it. Like, you're farting in your cubicle. What a terrible person you are.
I wonder, I would love to see those statistics across different cultures. Like, I feel like the 8 to 20 is an American statistic.
Sure.
But like, do the Japanese have that much?
Right.
Like, don't they eat essentially fish and rice and vegetables as a large portion of their diet?
Sure.
So there's a healthier, or the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah, right. Like, is there less farting in the heavy?
What is the most farty culture?
Yeah, right.
That's...
I do remember that.
I don't know why I care, but it's important to me to find out.
Yeah. I'm guessing like Eastern Europeans just got to be off the chain. They got to be in the 60 to 70 range all the time.
Yeah, what's their diet? Like sauerkraut and dumplings?
Yeah, right. It's part of their communication. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they let each other know what's going on. It's like, it's like in Africa, instead of clicks and whistles, the Eastern Europeans just...
it's like R2-D2 threw a pillow.
That's and the funny thing is Camden. Well, and to tie it back, Camden farted on the gurney in the emergency room while they were kind of working him around, and just a straight up, just like and he has like man farts. They're noisy. They're not offensive necessarily, but they're just a funny classic fart sound effect.
Now, and what do you teach? Do you teach him like, oh, careful, don't like that you do that around people or whatever? Because I'm still in every time Frankie farts, I laugh hysterically and go, what was that? And he goes, Frankie fart. And then if I do it, it's daddy fart, and we just laugh. I'm not even attempting the excuse me at this point. Lisa got mad at me and my wife the other night because he burped at the table. And I just laughed hysterically. And I'm not a body function guy. Like, I don't do that. Like, you've never... We've been having to hang out. I'm like, hey, Hal. It's not really my gig.
Yeah.
Only in my family.
Right.
Like, I do it around Lisa and I do it around Frankie because it cracks me up. And, like, that's it. There's no other area in which I make those types of jokes.
Camden has
with
to...
my kid... I don't know why it's got me like now suddenly farts are fucking funny. Like I love it. I will look for a fart inside me.
Oh,
like
that's playing with fire.
I will dig deep into the well of my soul and run over and fart on his head. I've never been that guy.
That's because you didn't have a little brother.
That's exactly right. And now,
right.
And he laughs.
Or a little sister or whatever. Are you an only child?
No, I have a sister that's about 7 years younger than me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I have 2 half brothers, but like I didn't really grow up with them. They were my dad's second marriage, and so they were. Yeah. I mean, I know them.
In another
obviously,
camp, right?
But yeah, they're so much younger.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay, well, she's almost too young for you to pull that stuff off. You get in too much trouble.
Because when I got to the age where, like, I mean, when she was a tiny little baby, like I would never have done anything like that. And by the time she was old enough where maybe I would have pulled that, I was too old to do it.
Right.
And I've never even in my social... Nice.
Personally...
Been drinking this damn boba you brought, and I don't think I can pull one of those out for me.
Yeah. And then choke and eat the Heimlich. Right. Did you? Yeah, I brought boba tea from Volcano Tea House. Good stuff. for us today. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I teach Camden to say "excuse me" after either. And then we have not gotten to the point where we don't fart in public because I don't know that there's 100% amount of awareness and control quite yet.
Yeah. But no, so here's the thing. And when I said Lisa gave me a hard time because he burped and she said, say, excuse me. And I was like, do whatever you want, you know. And I don't teach him that with most things. But is it strange that we have normal bodily functions that we excuse ourselves for? I still have this weird issue, and I do it often. Where I say bless you to people who sneeze, and I'm like, why the fuck did I say that?
Because during the sneeze, demons can get into their body. That's why.
Of
obviously.
Course. And that's the thing. If you're sneezing in my presence, I hope a demon gets you. No, it's just that, like, we all fart.
Yeah.
It's a normal body function that gives you a lot of relief. And it's like, oh, sorry. Why am I sorry? I'm not sorry. I'm not.
I think largely the noise is not offensive at all. As a matter of fact, the noise is hilariously funny. It's the smell.
Okay.
And the goal is like not to smell up a closed environment.
Understood.
But if you fart at Coachella, who gives a shit?
But then even excuse me, I almost think it's like, oh, dude, sorry I farted. Like it's going to smell. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seems like it should be a more casual apology. But the burping then, there's no reason for that unless it's a nasty burp in somebody's face, in which case you're an idiot. Because if I'm going to burp, I'm not like, oh, oops, it just flew out of my mouth into your face. I apologize. But it's like, why am I excusing myself?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a cultural mechanic. It has, to some degree, to do with whether or not you could have done it in a more discreet way. An element of civilization.
Once again, what makes that civil? We sort of talked about it at one point when we were talking about society.
What
and
is the point of civilization? This is annoying me.
It's
Why
bullshit.
Can't you cave in someone's head? I think it's part of the broken mirrors or broken windows concept, the 80-20 rule, is that if society keeps your kind of bodily functions a little bit in check, especially the uncomfortable or the noisy ones, it kind of it narrows the focus of society where everybody can start behaving themselves in greater senses. You know, the idea that fewer people in a culture fart in public, fewer people are murdered in that culture is the theory.
So why don't you hide a sneeze? Because here's the thing: when you burp, I know you just
you can't control it though in the same way. You can control the gauge. You can control the gauge of a burp easier than you can control the gauge of a sneeze. You can try to choke a sneeze off, but it's an involuntary...
Right, but your burp is just a noise. Your sneeze is potentially putting snot on me, which is maybe the grossest thing ever in the history of mankind. Any sort of
that's
mucus.
Why you put your,
right. But what I'm saying is,
your elbow.
If you burp and don't excuse yourself, nothing has happened to me. If you sneeze on me, you never say, excuse me. Like, you don't apologize for a sneeze.
Well, that's because...
you make somebody else apologize to you for your sneeze.
Well, they're not apologizing. They're wishing health on you.
Whatever.
It's not an apology.
So next time somebody sneezes, can I just go, I wish you weren't so fucking sick?
Yeah. You could say disease and run away. That's what I do.
Yeah, you're gross.
My favorite are what the Chinese do, which is they say eBay sui, or however many sneezes
you are. Just buy tissues on eBay.
Yeah, it's however many sneezes. They say the number, yang san bai sui, and bai sui means 100 years, living 100 years. So every sneeze, may you live 100 years. It's this kind of almost Vulcan-esque way of live long and prosper. Like they sneeze and you go, I hope you never whatever's making you ill doesn't kill you and you live to be 100 years old. It's actually kind of nice. It beats the hell out of God bless you because demons are flying into your mouth because you opened it.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Now, and also most of these came up when people were fucking disgusting. Where, let's understand something. Boxers are not underwear. They are a lining for your trousers to protect your pants from you being disgusting. That's all they are. They're a liner for your pants, so you can wear your pants tomorrow. They're workman pants idea. The idea that
but aren't all underwear that?
No. Because technically speaking, like tighty whities are actually briefs serve an athletic purpose. They keep your junk in one area while you're kind of operating in a situation where if they're dangling about, there might be some danger.
Okay.
There's a mild protective and coordination policy in briefs. I'm a boxer brief kind of a guy. I like the extension of the legging, but I don't wear boxers. But boxers are literally just like, okay, you're disgusting, and you have to wear these pants tomorrow. So let's put a liner between the most disgusting parts of you, and your pants. So you can wear your one pair of work pants tomorrow. Like workmen and businessmen who have like one suit or two suits and whatever, you can't keep washing your suit, it'll wear it out. So over time, humanity developed underwear that could be washed more regularly and then thrown away to keep your clothing longer fresh. Okay, so that's the idea, is that that basically your bodily function is so disgusting it will ruin your clothes. So anything like that has an ancillary attribution where you'll go, yeah, don't do that in public as best you can.
Well, I'm going to meet everybody halfway. I'm going to continue to wear underwear.
Okay.
But I'm no longer going to excuse myself when I burp. And I'm going to burp freely and happily in whatever situation I happen to be in, unless it's the presence of a person that signs my paycheck, just to be safe.
That's right. See?
That's the person I don't want to offend. Everybody else,
once you've
your
given
feelings are off the table.
Once you've given ground, I think it's over. But that's my own personal feeling. But can you force burp?
No.
I cannot either.
No, I'm not good at that. I grew up with a friend who could just go swallow air and burp half the alphabet.
Yeah.
Gross, but amazing.
I had a friend who could do that with farts. Could literally lean back on his back, spread his legs, stand up, and fart it out.
That is amazing.
And now that man is president of the United States of America.
And he farts out of his mouth.
I had a question I wanted to throw at you guys. What is the difference in offensiveness between burps and farts? Because I get into intense conversations with my fiance about this.
I will say farts are more disgusting than burps because of the guarantor of fecal material and the necessary microscopic microbial spray necessary in both of those activities. That while the mouth is certainly disgusting, there is no in the projection of air in burping, it is not originated in the mouth. It's originated in the esophagus. So it brushes by. Yes, there might be something gross in there, but there's a guarantor as air passes through the colon on its way, as it negotiates its way out of the body, that there are offensive materials in it.
100% agree. It's poop air. Like, that's really what it is. It's poop air in your nose. And every time I smell a fart, it's gross, but then I think, oh my God, someone shit in my nose. Yeah. Like, that's a little bit how it feels.
And that's why you do that outside.
So
that's why you socialize that act outside. And that's why burping you can do into your napkin, but nobody puts a napkin.
I'm 100% farting into a napkin next time I'm at a restaurant.
Funny. At a restaurant, excuse me.
That's amazing. I'm not hungry. I want to go eat with you guys right now so I can fart into a napkin.
All this sounds like,
oh, excuse me.
Like, it's like you're making an argument for French aristocracy. This just sounds like something like a spotty French king would do.
I have to ask Phil, what's the division of opinion there?
Okay, so it's actually really interesting. Mm-hmm. So I grew up unable to burp. Right? Like, my
mom can't burp.
Yeah. I had this problem until probably after college, right? Where I would get incredibly intense stomach pain and would never be able to burp it out.
Right.
So when I finally got to the point where my body relaxed and let me start burping, ever since then, like, all the members of my immediate family were like, oh, this is great, right? Like, everybody's very excited for me.
He was a big boy. Look, he's a big boy.
100%. So I literally never, and plus, as a family, we're all kind of like, we find gas funny. So, like, farts, I get it, but I was never socialized to find anything offensive about burping. Mm-hmm. In fact, almost the exact opposite. Like, I was socialized to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So then I got together with my fiance, and, like, she considers burps like just this side of farts, right? Wow. And, like, I've had to sort of break her out of that. And to her credit, she's gone along because I feel like I'm right. Mm-hmm. But it's been a whole ongoing thing.
Sure.
Well, you're the man. You're clearly right.
Sharon Gless, who was on Queer as Folk and Cagney and Lacey, and all that, and she played my mother on Queer as Folk. Wonderful woman, fantastic. Last contract player that Universal ever had. Has been an ingenue. Was on fucking Rockford Files.
Was she Cagney or Lacey?
She was Cagney. She was Christine Cagney, and she, the blonde, Tyne Daly was Lacey.
Right.
Yeah. Who's got a wonderful singing voice. Fabulous. And almost, by God, in her delivery, straight up Judy Garland. Like, just how she talks. She's got this nearly, mid-Atlantic accent. It's wonderful. Anyway, so Sharon is like a classic Hollywood broad in a lot of ways. She's just like this woman who's seen more of everything than you've ever seen in Hollywood. She can top you. Doesn't matter.
Right.
And she'll burp. She used to burp on set and just blap like that. And she'd go, who's a big girl? Like that. And pat her chest. And basically, like her parents were like, oh, if she burps, she'll feel better. So like that, it's just a leftover joke from her family. It's almost the exact same thing. I wouldn't doubt if somebody in her family had, dyspepsia, which is what that's called, which is where Pepsi gets its name.
Yeah.
Literally, like that was, you drink bicarbonate of soda. They put caramel and and sugar in it so you could get a kid who can't burp to drink it. And so and a lot of the reasons they go to the soda fountain to get drugs in you is part of it was backed up gas. Like people just couldn't burp and it would be stuck and they'd be uncomfortable, not know why. And the biggest thing was like, especially in your like 20s, 30s, 40s, people would think they were having heart palpitations because they had like huge bouts of depression and malnutrition and all kinds of other shit that people were dealing with.
All cured by Pepsi Cola.
Well, and by soda fountains.
Yeah.
They'd go get their pharmaceutical stuff, but half of it was maybe the medicine they were getting. Half of it was them just finally burping and going, oh, my heart feels better. Oh, I can walk again. Like before they were just like clenching it down because everybody was so goddamn uptight. From 30 years of hell.
Yeah, and holding in their farts.
That's right.
See?
Yeah.
It's all come full circle.
That's right. There's literally, I just learned this, there's an Italian, like, kind of way of saying, Jesus Christ, about somebody, which is, let the cork out. Which literally means you've got a cork in your ass, keeping your farts in, and it's making you an uptight prick. And literally, it's in this, I'm reading a book right now called Foucault's Pendulum. And in it, one of the guys is just talking about he explains it because the book's originally written in Italian, but he explains the colloquialism because the idea is that eventually
I've heard the phrase "let the cork out."
Just let the cork out, like that. And the way that the guy describes it, he goes, is eventually someone will pull the cork out and psh, and he writes psh in the prose. I was like, that's amazing. I'm in like 3 books deep right now. So like
all fart books.
Yeah, all fart books. Yeah.
I exclusively read.
Yeah, scratch and sniff, and then one's a pop up, which is funny. And
one's an audio book.
Yeah,
that you listen to in the car.
The other one's just. That wasn't as good. Excuse me.
I got nothing.
That was a boba one. I've been trying to like work them up.
I need carbonation to pull that off.
But yeah, so I like, and that book is amazing. Total side topic, but it's literally about some guys at a failing newspaper, kind of like a failing newsletter. It's hard to describe what they did at the time. It's a modern equivalent of blogging.
Right.
Decide they keep hearing these conspiracy theories and shit like that, and they decide to take one of these conspiracy theories and in a way to kind of drum up readership because there's always some nutcase who cares about this issue, and in their case it's the Templars, the Knights Templar. They decide, we'll just write a bunch of shit about it. We'll just kind of make it up as we go along. We'll take what little we do know and just kind of logically follow it to, make up like we have evidence of other shit.
Like and the original fake news.
And just pull it out of our ass. And in relation to how I'm trying to tie it all together. And they start getting these weird phone calls in the middle of the night and people showing up and going, how did you know? Because they basically, by just putting 2 and 2 together, ultimately just stumble on something that's kind of obviously in the middle of, that this grand conspiracy that's been going on. But they just never, they just went, well, yeah, I guess if that guy knew that guy, then they'd probably hang out. And what if they do this? Oh, there's this event over here, so we'll start tying it together. So they just start making up the connections, but they're real. A good portion of what they're saying is dead on.
Yeah.
And they do it with enough ghosty language from there. We may not know, but we've heard that to cover their asses. That literally, like the conspirators start coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it's told in like kind of retrospect, like shit is already going down. One of them is missing and all this other stuff. And they kind of are going back through the whole process.
And is this an old book or a new book?
I want to say early 80s, but that might just be the pressing I'm reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I literally friggin' love having iBooks, and just being able to take my iPad mini with me and read when I'm on a plane and that kind of stuff. And just the volume of books. It's a blessing and a curse in some ways, simply because you just can't, like, there are too many there. There are too many fucking books. Yeah, so this is Umberto Eco's book, Foucault's Pendulum. And it's, let's see, when did this actually come out? And, of course, it doesn't say. Of course, it doesn't say which print it is. But it's literally translated from Italian. It's pretty great. Like, he also did a book called The Prague Cemetery, which is also, that's my next one that I'm reading. While at the same time, I'm reading Unshakable, the Tony Robbins book, Beyond Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, which is the Mike Matthews workout book, and The Three Body Problem, which is translated from Chinese, but it's a sci-fi novel about essentially multi-dimensional living, like if there's multiple versions of
based on the movie The Human Centipede.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Three Body Problem.
Did you ever see The Human Centipede?
Can't do it. Can't do it.
What?
Can't do it. Can't even look at the picture. Can't even Google it and see the image. It's so upsetting to me. So uncomfortable. Thinking about it makes me uncomfortable.
I've seen 2 of them. There's a third. I didn't bother to watch the third because it's just stupid. But the first 2, the first one's fucking brutal.
Yeah, can't do it.
And the second one's all meta because the idea is that a super fan of the movie tricks the actress from the first one into coming to a horror convention, and basically he's been building a human centipede he wants her to be the front of.
Oh God!
So he captures her, and she wakes up in a room with like 30 people who he's going to sew together. Oh, fucking hell.
The whole thing's gross.
Oh, are you a horror film?
I'm not really a horror film guy. Yeah, it's not because they make me uncomfortable or anything. I just don't get into them. I mean, It's like, oh, that scared me for a minute.
Did you ever see one that you like, though? Like,
I'm sure I have, but I honestly, like...
None of them would register.
Yeah, they never stay in my sort of card catalog of movie references. Meaning that because I don't really care about them that much. Yeah.
Yeah, I like them when they're done well. I'm always impressed, when a horror film is done well. And like over the last few years, there's been such amazing work done in the horror genre, mainly because of what's available potentially now. And it's sad to me that like paranormal encounters or experience or whatever the fuck that was. That became kind of the big one when it's really just kind of low res shot stuff, like the Blair Witch kind of deal. When there's so many other where the tech and the makeup and all that kind of stuff, and just the suspense of really good camera work, can just there's a French film called Hot Tension, which is like starts off as these 2 girls taking a break from school. They're going to go stay at one of the girls' parents' house out in the country. And you're just going to hang out and study for a test. And nope, they're not a couple, unfortunately.
This movie sucks.
Yeah.
It was good a minute ago.
Oh, wait. And the only people at the cabin are her 8-year-old little brother and her parents, whom are killed in the first 20 minutes by a guy who rolls up in a rusty ice cream truck with a chainsaw and a shotgun and stuff, and just looks like a classic serial killer monster human. And it's about him chasing the 2 of them through the woods for the rest of it.
I think you mentioned that to me before.
But it's got kind of a flip ending. But it's
where they kiss.
There's some kissing.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But it's
so give it a watch. It sounds like it could be all right.
Like that one I was like, it's great, but it's one of those to turn it around. And this is what always fascinates me, because anytime somebody makes a mistake, like a dumb mistake in a horror movie, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck them, kill them. I don't give a shit. Kill these assholes.
And it happens in most horror movies.
Oh my God. Like everybody's going to make a dumb mistake once in a while, but like the really obvious blaring ones are just ridiculous. Yeah. Even the walking slow through a room that might have a killer in it. Like to some degree, you're better off picking up a couple of like floor lamps and just running through swinging until you get to the door.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like this whole like sneaking around a corner just so your neck is at the right height for a machete is fucking retarded. Pardon me, but I have no sympathy in those situations. So if I see a horror movie where everybody's doing everything right and yet they still can't survive, that's good. That's a good, and that's why the first Alien works so well. And for that matter, the second Alien, like other than the little girl throwing the kind of like, why is she crawling away? Why is she going down a tunnel? Why did she slip and fall? That ultimately works out. But because she's been alive in that place for a long time, so you kind of give her the benefit. You're like, this girl stayed alive here for months. Won't you put her in charge? But
R.I.P. by the way. R.I.P.
Oh, Bill Paxton. Yeah, so good. And you know what? Another great movie, not a horror film that he was just in. Most people know it as Live, Die, Repeat, the Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow.
Great movie with our favorite Emily Blunt.
Oh my God, Emily Blunt.
Was she chopping wood in this film? I haven't seen it.
She was chopping everything.
She chopped the shit out of some aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
all right.
Dude,
that's one up from wood.
She's macho sexy.
All right.
100 times over. This is like my favorite. Like at one point where she's in an automated like facility for learning how to fight aliens, essentially, where you go in with these blades and you're able to just hack them to pieces or whatever. And they're these robots that can actually kill you. And she goes through, like, she's fucking doing yoga.
Wait, what's this called again?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Fuck,
okay.
man.
Yeah.
Please see the movie.
Dude.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. No, like, hands down, awesome. One of the best sci-fi films of the last 30 years.
I'm be on a plane Thursday night, so I'll
buy it, own it, download it. I can't recommend it highly enough. I probably watched it 100 times. It's a sort of a time travel movie, so there's that element of it. Like,
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Inside joke between Bill and I.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
that you don't like time travel movies?
No. Yeah, it's not that at all. Not that at all. We'll explain it off air. It's too long of an explanation.
Okay. Anyways. Paxton's in that. Bless his heart, as a sergeant, as a military sergeant, he's terrific.
Loved me some Bill Paxton.
Yeah,
and everything.
Yeah,
everything. He never really topped Weird Science because Chet, but everything else after that was still quality work.
Pretty baller.
You're stewed, but what?
No, I mean his character in Aliens, his whole like game over, man, game over, like that became a classic line of all time. I mean, like there are only about like 30 like transcendent lines where you don't need to know the movie at all.
Yeah, and
the characterization of it and how it was done, how it was written. I'll Be Back had a lot to do with.
That's got to be number one though, right? I'll Be Back.
Yeah. Out of context, like still works, but it was literally meant to be the idea of this robot is speaking in lazy normal English. But since he has this odd Austrian accent for no fucking reason, him saying it stood out.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Favorite line? Give me your favorite line ever from a movie.
Oh, Jesus.
If you have something that sticks in your head that resonates.
Oh, you could almost
because as soon as I thought the question, I didn't have an answer prepared.
Yeah,
one came into my head from a movie that I don't even think about hardly ever. So I'm curious if you have one.
There's so many from Big Trouble in Little China that just
you only get one. You can only have one favorite.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Bill.
See, I know more movie lines than you do.
I feel like no, you know a zillion. Everybody knows more movie lines than me, so my options are only like 3, and I'll Be Back's one of them.
It's hard for me to not say this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. The last line in Casablanca,
sure,
just says so much in that moment. I almost want to quote the entire Bogart soliloquy to Ingrid Bergman before he puts her on the plane. The lives of 3 little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world, Ilsa. That's why you're getting on that plane. Like I'm getting chills right now. I'm getting goosebumps.
And that was when they wrote those movies on the fly. They were literally like, we need a scene.
Like 6 screenwriters on that movie.
Yeah. And
arguably one of the greatest scripts ever written.
That's right. And because it was written, and the idea that you can't do anything by committee and that everybody has to sign off on one thing is all bullshit by Casablanca. I think if I had to boil it down to, it's so tough, but I would go Rutger Hauer's death line from Blade Runner.
Oh, such a good choice.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Ooh.
Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I've watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10 Hauser gates. All these moments will be lost in time like tears in rain. And then he dies. And it's so great. And he lets go of the bird he's holding.
Also, no surprise Hal picked the longest possible line.
No, that's such an amazing moment.
That was really good.
My second would be, for God darn. Which is from Fletch. Or Bill Murray in Caddyshack.
I was just thinking,
no big deal.
I was going to go, it's in a hole.
It's in a hole.
It's in a hole.
Oh, you're lean and you're mean and you're not too far between.
Mrs. Anderson.
Right.
Bill Murray in Caddyshack might be my favorite character in a movie, in a comedy ever.
Yeah. And that was all just like Carl does his thing. Like literally writing stuff in the script. Carl does his thing.
So good.
Yeah.
So I think mine is... And I'm probably, because I can't memorize anything, so I'm probably paraphrasing the line as it is. But I've expressed to both of you that one of my favorite movie genres is the parent as savior, parental revenge kind of thing. It's why the Takens and the Man on Fires and all those things.
Oh yeah, male romances. I call those male romance movies.
So the movie The Professional.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
With Leon.
Yeah, when she says, I think she says something like, "What are you going to do?" And he says, "I'm going to clean them all." Mm-hmm. And essentially, like everyone that's coming after you, I'm going to go out and kill all of them. I just got chills just saying it and teary-eyed.
Yes. There it is.
Because it's like that's that father figure.
Oh, yeah.
No one's going to hurt you. I'm going to eradicate every person that might do damage to you.
Yeah.
And it's like literally gives me the chills.
Oh, yeah.
And just that line is so strong.
Yeah.
Like,
I
love it. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, like... There's so many great lines. The end.
I'm sucking my boba into the mouth.
The Edge. There's a great line, and it's on its own. It doesn't stand out, kind of like I'll Be Back, but it's amazingly written. David Mamet wrote The Edge, and most people write it off as like a bear movie because it's Alec Baldwin and
Anthony Hopkins.
Sir Anthony Hopkins, yes, and he. Basically, everybody but him in that movie is an asshole on some level or not. The young black dude, and I forget his name. He's a great actor. He was in Lost. He gets killed by his own mistakes. Alec Baldwin gets killed by his own treachery, which is about the age. Like when the young guy fucks up because he doesn't have enough sense. The guy in the middle trying to get ahead fucks himself up, and the old man who kind of incorporates all of his life knowledge is the one who survives. And they ask him, it's fucking awesome. Like, this is manhood to me. He's walking up the cabin at the end. He's survived. The helicopter found him. Alec Baldwin's just kind of keeled over, made it to the last second. But excuse
Good
you.
job, Frank.
Yeah. Who's a big boy? Anyways, Alec Baldwin keeled over and basically he's the only survivor, Anthony Hopkins. And they go, Sir, what happened to your friends? And Anthony Hopkins says, they died saving my life.
Ooh.
Because he reclaimed his life through the whole process of going through this. Like, this was like a giant lesson. He treated it as such. And, that's...
Yeah, that's one of those give me the chills.
Well, what happened to your friends? They died saving my life. And nothing could be materially farther from the truth. But his respect for them in death is part of what's extraordinary about it. Like the young guy, you could totally see like that kid, was of no help to anybody almost.
Yeah.
He dies before they even fight the bear. In terms of that, Alec Baldwin was actively, arguably trying to kill him the whole time. So way not the case. but he let them die with dignity because why not? Because that's what manhood is, being able to just go, you know what? There need be no more damage in this situation. No one need be harmed any further ever again from this circumstance. And the gift I got from it is immeasurable. So the measure of dignity and manhood that's in that line is just like, to me, that's one of the great, you know, it's like Hemingway in a movie for men, for guys to watch a movie and go, okay, what the fuck does it mean for you to be a man? If it has any meaning whatsoever for you.
Being able to fart publicly?
That's right. Okay. Besides that, yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure that's what he meant, but I feel like that's, you know.
Put that in your book, which is the best fart follow-up in a movie ever. That's from Dances with Wolves. He goes, what you writing in that book? And the guy goes, just, you know, my experiences, you know, things that I see or whatever. And the old cowboy goes, crap, put that in your book. Remember that around the fire?
My proudest fart moment. So when I was in my 20s and a competitive bodybuilder, one of my best friends, Kevin.
I imagine in those posing, that's why they play music.
Yeah. Oh, it's got to be really loud.
Yeah, like all those.
So my friend Kevin and I were, you know, huge roided out monsters, and we always, you know, it was back in the 90s. We were wearing the hot skins tights and multicolors and the shirts. We went to, if I'm remembering correctly, the restaurant. We went to Fuddruckers after a workout to get burgers, and we're sitting there, and we're in our workout clothes.
My girlfriend Sue in high school, that was our main date go-to place was Fuddruckers.
Right at the end of the workout, somebody would look at the other one and go, "We going Fudding or what?" And we would go to get Fuddruckers and just get a whole bunch of shit. So we're sitting eating, just, you know, talking. There's a table next to us with a family. With a boy who's, I'm going to say, roughly 7 years old. It's hard to remember the exact, but he was a little kid. And he looks over at us and he says something to his parents, and they're like, I guess, like, go ahead. And he walks over and he says, "Are you guys wrestlers?" Because we looked like, sure. I mean, he didn't understand that we were way too fucking short to be wrestlers. Like, if Kevin stood on my shoulders, we would have been wrestlers. But so we're like, yeah, because we could tell that the kid
don't have a pee-wee league.
Yeah, exactly. So he starts talking to us, and we're, you know, I mean, we're both friendly, and he's a cool little kid, so we're being nice. He sits down in the chair with us and just starts talking, and his parents kind of look like it's okay. We're like, it's totally cool. You know what I mean? So he's just saying, and we're trying to engage, and he's like, "Oh, I just ate a hamburger." And I said, "Me too." And he said, "And I had some French fries." And I said, "Me too." And he said, I mean, he was just, everything he was saying, I was agreeing and saying, "Me too," just to have fun with him. And at one point, now I'm being nice to this kid, he looks at me and he goes, "You're a copier." And for whatever reason at that moment, I was capable of lifting a butt cheek and going, and I farted and I looked at him and I went, "Copy that." And Kevin fell out of his chair onto the floor laughing, and the kid's just staring at me. But his parents could hear it.
Yeah, right.
And they looked over at the table like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." They're like, "Billy,
Get
back over here.
Before that wrestler shits on you.
Yeah. Guy's going to take a dump on your head.
Classic joke.
And I was like, "You little bastard."
That's
I just
hilarious.
sat there and
we were being friendly.
And I was your sidekick for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you called me a name.
And the valuable lesson that guy learned.
I have to fart on you,
That's
you little bastard.
Fucking hysterical.
So, anyway.
I
I don't know why I brought this back to farts. This has been a really farty episode.
Oh, no, I think my favorite fart moment in real life, I'm at my buddy Matt's house in Chicago. He's having a big party. Like his family's having a big party. This was in high school. And he's got this niece, and she's an angel, just the most beautiful little girl. She's like 12. There's like long, like an angel.
Yeah.
Like she should have white wings and just be fluttering about. And she walks into the room and says hi or whatever. And she goes, "Guess what I can do?" And she lets out the biggest like old man fart I have ever heard in my life. Like genius, like pre-diabetic trucker fart. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Like there's just this depth of volume and sound to it. And then she gets this surprised look on her face and runs out of her room. And I'm like, oh, she shit her pants. She farted so hard, she shit her pants. And then she ran out with this like look of terror on her poor angelic face. And I was like, I think I've just witnessed good and evil in the same space and space-time moment. This is like the battle between the Jedi and Darth Vader forever.
Oh my God.
It was so funny though. And Matt and I just like we were so surprised because it kind of happened so randomly that it was like something out of The Exorcist. You know, like she just ran in. Look what I can do. Brah. Oops. Boom.
Oh no.
And both of us were just like, we just fell over. It was so fun.
Amazing.
Yeah. We've covered a lot of.
I feel like on that note, we're like, there's nowhere else to go with this. Like, let's just stick with the smell in the room.
Yeah, before we get off on boogers.
Yeah,
or something.
No, I can't do that. I'll actually gag. So, shit, that was fun.
I agree. And anyways, I'm sending more love out to Camden right now. He gets his stitches out, I think, day after tomorrow.
Yeah, big ups, buddy.
He's,
good job handling that. I'm looking forward to seeing your little scar.
Yeah.
I'll think it's very cool.
Yeah. And then, but we're like, I'm hoping next week we can have a special guest, one of my relatives. We'll see if we can make that happen. It depends on his.
Yeah, we keep saying we're going to have guests, so it's about time. And if he's able to make it, I don't want to give away
he's
what
a good start.
But he would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he listens to podcasts like a maniac, so he's like, he'll probably give us recommendations out the ass. Like, you guys should listen to this guy too. But in the interim, follow Frank Prather on Twitter and follow at Hal Sparks on Twitter as well. And then the Superior Podcast Facebook page. Don't forget to like and subscribe to that. And of course, these videos are going to go up if you want to watch there. And Wednesday, tomorrow, Comedy Jam. If we release this, I don't know if we release it or not. Comedy Jam on Comedy Central. I'm singing with Sebastian Bach this week. And if you're getting this after the fact, go look up the episode. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
So Wednesday for us. Yeah.
Okay, so this is, if you're listening, this will go up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll make sure it's up. So it's out for
so
that.
Tonight on Wednesday the 19th or whatever, I'm in studio all day tomorrow recording with the band. I'm doing vocals tomorrow. And then I'm singing tonight at the Whiskey. And then tomorrow night I'm on Comedy Jam with Sebastian, which is just awesome.
Nice. And if you happen for some reason to be in Wilmington, North Carolina, I will be performing at Dead Crow Comedy next Tuesday night.
What? That's awesome.
I'll be at Dead Crow on Tuesday night. And then just so we have it out there, May 1st at Flappers in Burbank will be all of the Bail Bonds Media podcast hosts, myself and Hal included, doing a show at Flappers.
That's right.
Come on out, 8 p.m.
And like 2 weeks after that, I'll be at the Dead Crow. And there's a chance you might be able to join me. We'll see.
We'll see. But Hal will be at Dead Crow as well. And then we got a bunch of other shit coming up.
It's our new home away from home, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
So awesome. And as far as it'd be interesting to hear on the Facebook page. Let us know your favorite movie line if you have one.
Yeah, I want to hear favorite movie line. Also, fart and burp stories.
Right. I don't think we have time for that. Yeah. You know what? Just videotape something.
Oh, please send it to us.
Yeah. And explain the story.
Exactly.
Yeah. We want to redeem Facebook Live a little bit.
All right. Episode 25
in the bag.